A 20-year-old walked into the 2026 Miami Open. Didn't play a match. Didn't win a title. Just showed up to practice. Asterisk and completely shut the tournament down. Here's what nobody is saying loudly enough. While players with Grand Slam trophies were hitting balls on nearby courts in front of nearly empty stands, fans were sprinting across the venue to watch Eala warm up. Not compete. Asterisk warm up. Asterisk tournament staff had to physically rethink their crowd management. Security repositioned. Scheduling conversations happened behind closed doors. For a practice session. Let that land for a second, because here's the thing about practice sessions at a tournament like Miami. They're invisible. A few fans wander past. Maybe someone lingers at the fence for 10 minutes. The player works through their patterns, stretches, disappears into the locker room. Nobody adjusts anything. Nobody moves anywhere. That's every player at the 2026 Miami Open. Every player except one. Fans arrived before she touched a single ball. They lined the fence. Filled every bleacher seat near the practice court. Phones already out. Cameras already rolling. Some waited over an hour just for a decent spot, to watch her asterisk warm up. Asterisk, and right next to her players ranked higher, with more titles, longer careers, bigger trophy cases, practicing in front of noticeably smaller crowds. Read that again. Players ranked asterisk higher. Asterisk smaller crowds. That's not a fluke. That's a statement. And the fans are the ones who made it. But here's where it gets interesting. What happened on that practice court didn't come from nowhere. The numbers have been building for months, and once you see them together, they're impossible to dismiss. A training video. Basic day-in-the-life content. The kind of footage most athletes post and quietly forget about. Nearly 100,000 views. Not a match highlight from a Grand Slam. Not a viral moment. A asterisk training video. Asterisk, that's the baseline. That's what routine content does for Eala right now. But that's not even the number that made the tennis world stop. At the Australian Open earlier this year, Eala sat down for a pre-tournament press conference. So did Novak Djokovic. So did Aryna Sabalenka. So did Iga Świątek. Players who have collectively won more Grand Slams than most eras of the sport ever produced. Eala's press conference got 173,000 views. Asterisk hers. Asterisk, not a match. Not a celebration. A press conference. Sitting in a chair, answering questions. 173,000 views. The comparison that started circulating after that number dropped, you've probably heard it. Emma Raducanu. 2021 US Open. A qualifier who walked in ranked outside the top 300 and won the whole tournament without dropping a set. One of the most statistically improbable performances in tennis history. Brands scrambled. Audiences that had never watched tennis suddenly couldn't look away. The analysts drawing that comparison to Eala aren't being dramatic. The pattern is asterisk genuinely similar. Young player. Compelling story. Rapidly expanding audience in regions tennis had never reached before. But here's the difference. Raducanu's moment was 2 weeks. One tournament. Then the story had to fight to stay alive. Eala's has been building across multiple continents, multiple tournaments, multiple months, and it hasn't faded once. Why? One word. Connection. Asterisk, the Philippines has over 110 million people. A sports culture built on boxing, basketball, and anything that puts national pride on a global stage. Tennis had never given that community a player to organize around. Not at the elite level. Not until Eala. And when she made her run at the 2025 Miami Open, walk in as a wild card ranked 140th, beat Aryna Sabalenka, Madison Keys, and Jelena Ostapenko, walk out ranked 75th, that community didn't just notice. It asterisk erupted. Asterisk, the Panalo Army doesn't do casual support. These are fans staying in the stands past midnight for late sessions that most tournament crowds abandoned hours ago. Fans who track her schedule across time zones. Fans who asterisk travel. Asterisk, they don't show up because the rankings tell them to. They show up because she means something to them that rankings can never measure. That kind of loyalty. You cannot buy it. You cannot manufacture it. You cannot schedule it into a marketing plan. The WTA didn't build this. The sponsors didn't build this. The fans decided. And the fans do not need permission. Which is exactly why Nike was paying attention. Before Miami, Eala walked through Nike headquarters in Oregon. Her image placed in promotional spaces alongside figures who represent the highest levels of sports history. That's not a routine visit. That's a deliberate signal from a brand that plays long games. And the signature collection rumors? Custom gear tied to her identity and story? Those don't happen for players ranked 32nd in the world. They happen for cultural icons. The fact that conversation is already happening, before she's won a single WTA title, tells you everything about what the commercial world sees when it looks at her trajectory. Sam Querrey said it on the Nothing Major podcast. And it spread immediately. He said Eala might currently be generating more global curiosity than Aryna Sabalenka. Sabalenka. Grand Slam champion. Years of top-level consistency. One of the most recognizable names in the sport. That's a bold comparison. But nobody pushed back on it, because the evidence doesn't leave much room to argue. Steve Johnson made it even simpler. She is the biggest draw in women's tennis right now. Not almost. Not arguably. Just, yes. John Isner went further. He talked about untapped markets. About what it means for a sport when a star player opens the door to a region the size of Southeast Asia. He said the crowds she generates are insane everywhere she goes. And he pointed out something that should have been obvious a long time ago. If you produce a player who connects with markets that size, you haven't just found a new star. You've opened a door that doesn't close. So here's where we land. We opened with a 20-year-old who hadn't played a single competitive point, and was already the most talked about person at one of tennis's biggest events. Now you know why. Not because the WTA positioned her that way. Not because the rankings demanded it. Not because any marketing department sat in a room and planned it. Because 110 million people were waiting for a player to believe in, and she showed up. Because fans don't follow leaderboards. They follow stories. And right now, in Miami, Eala is the most compelling story in the sport. The practice court crowds already made that decision. The rest of tennis is just catching up. Drop your Miami Open prediction in the comments. And if you think the WTA is still sleeping on what they have here, say it. Because this conversation is just getting started.